Hello, everyone. I'm Grant Cohn. That's the famous Botond. That means it's Monday morning, Monday night in Hungary. We've got to talk about some Niners. The Niners have made some roster moves. There is news to talk about, and there's a big deal. The Niners lost a key player. This is a guy who was perennially the MVP of the team in May. In OTA, this guy was an OTA champ, been on the team a long time. Now he's on the Bengals. Trent Taylor. How big of a loss is this for the 49ers, and why do you think this is going to cost them a chance at the Super Bowl?
First of all, as always, glad to be here. It's always a pleasure. And I'm extremely sad because we lost one of our key players, Trent Taylor, who was not only one of our greatest receivers, but he was the personal mascot of George Kittle as well. I think George will miss him the most. Well, first of all, guys who are the fans of Cincinnati Bengals, I'm sorry, extremely sorry that you just have to watch this guy play for your team. To be honest, I liked Trent Taylor when we signed him. I think he was great until his injury. But after that injury, he looks extremely, I don't know, slow and bad. Yeah, that's the word.
That's the word.
Yeah.
It's a three-letter word, starts with a B, ends with a D. Thing about Trent, I don't understand what the Bengals are doing here. What film did they watch? They were like, you know what? Let's give him a shot. Something from 2017, most likely.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't been good in 4 years. He was awful last year. He couldn't get open. He's small. He's slow. He's not quick anymore. I don't know. The guy who broke the story on NFL Network said it's a great fit for Cincinnati because they need a slot receiver and a punt returner. He's not. If he's a slot receiver and a punt returner, I'm a slot receiver and a punt returner.
Yeah, I think that most of the SE writers from 49ers could be great punt returners if Trent Taylor is an upgrade in Cincinnati over their former punt returner. So I just can't understand that, and I don't see why other experts think that Trent Taylor is a great addition in any team. I think that guy has played out the most of his career. He's never going to be better. That's it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, the Niners gave him 8,000 chances to come back. Kyle Shanahan clearly loved him. So did George Kittle. So did Jimmy Garoppolo. They always talked him up. If he had anything left, he'd be on the Niners. They drafted him. They were invested in him. He's part of the family. They invite him to Cabo and stuff. He has nothing left. How did the Bengals think that the Niners had an up-close look at him for 4 years and didn't see something that they're going to see, that they're going to get out of him? Man, I saw it too. He's terrible. Good luck, Cincinnati. Seems like a Cincinnati move. And they would do.
I don't think that he will be the
he's not going to make the team
at the end of the season. So
no. But I think spends his off seasons in Nashville, so that's probably closer to him. It's probably convenient, but he's not going to make that team. The Niners, interesting move. The Niners signed Marquise Lee. They lose Trent Taylor. They signed Marquise Lee, who hasn't been around in a long time. He's 29 years old. He went to USC, had a great career at USC, was drafted by the Jaguars, played with Blake Bortles, has had knee injuries. Here's what you got to know. He was at the rookie tryout. I'm there. I had no idea they were allowed to invite vets. So I'm sitting there like, okay, let's get to know these undrafted free agents. I see some guy making a very nice contested catch over the middle. It basically saves Trey Lance an interception. I'm like, oh, okay, this kid's got some promise. Who is it? I look down. Marquise Lee, 29-year-old Marquise Lee. So anyway, he had a good practice. He got a probably a non-guaranteed deal. What do you think of this move?
Well, what I have said during the draft that I wanted the 49ers to take a third wide receiver into the team, and I think that he could fit the spot right now, or maybe he can compete for the spot.
He'd be a slot receiver.
He is a slot receiver, and he's a possession receiver, which makes him more valued for this team right now. I like that we signed him. I do think that he can be an upgrade for this team if he can get back into his good form. So he's older than me, and that's
he's also a returner. He has a kick return touchdown in his career back in 2016. He returned punts and kicks at USC. I loved Marquise Lee coming out of college. I thought Marquise Lee was better than Robert Woods at USC. Was going to have a better career. He's had knee injuries. Here's the thing with Mark. He's like, it's the Jason Verrett thing. Like the Niners are now going to keep going after people who've missed multiple years of injury because it worked out with Jason Verrett.
Yeah.
It's kind of like how they drafted injury players forever because it worked out with Frank Gore. So now, okay, it works out with Jason Verrett. Marquise Lee, here's his situation. He was really good. He had 2 good years. Not really good years, but he had 2 decent years, 2016 and 2017. 2016, he had 63 catches, 850 yards, 3 touchdowns. 17, he had 56 catches, 700 yards, 3 touchdowns. Okay, 2018, tears his knee up, misses the year. 2019, misses most of the year, has 4 catches. 2018. 2019, yes. 2020, opts out. So he hasn't done anything. No. Like, he's like Trent Taylor in that sense. He hasn't done anything since 2017. So I guess it's kind of a lateral move, but I still think he's better than Trent Taylor.
Yeah, that's for sure that he's better than Trent Taylor. And the receiver that the 49ers missed the most since the leave of Botond is that we didn't have a real possession receiver. And I do think we can get a real possession receiver if Marquise Lee works out. And I think that's the most important thing right now, that was the greatest black spot for this offense, that we didn't have any possession receivers, and we wanted Trent Taylor to be a possession receiver, our possession receiver. We wanted to try River Craycraft if he can be a possession receiver. But honestly, that's a joke, I think. And right now, I think that they did the right moves signing him.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most exciting move. He's 29. He hasn't played in 3 years. Okay. I think he's better than Trent Taylor. I think he's probably going to be better than Mohamed Sanu. I think he's probably going to be better than Travis Benjamin. I mean, you can't count on Jalen Hurd. Richie James is not a possession receiver. They're looking for someone who can replace Kendrick Bourne. They didn't draft anyone. They brought in Austin Watkins, an undrafted free agent. I saw him on the same field with Marquise Lee on Friday. Marquise Lee's a better player than Austin Watkins. So if they're looking for someone to fill that Kendrick Bourne role, could be Marquise Lee. Remember, the Patriots signed him in 2020. He opted out. He was a 2nd-round pick, I believe. He's not that old. He's fresh in the sense that he hasn't played for 3 years. He has more upside than Trent Taylor. I kind of like the move, but I guess you shouldn't really expect much from him. He's an injury waiting to happen.
No. If he gets about 200 yards this season, then we can say that it was a great signing.
The last time he played was 2019. He appeared in 6 games, started 1, had 4 targets, caught 3, 18 yards. How about that? 2 first downs, though.
3 catches, 2 first downs.
To be fair, though, dude had to play a lot of games with Blake Bortles, man. I feel bad for him for that. He had to play a lot of games with Blake Bortles. So maybe now that he gets to play with Jimmy Garoppolo, everything will get to be better. I mean, Trey Lance. Did I say Jimmy Garoppolo? My bad. Let's talk about positional battles to watch in OTAs. Which are the ones that are you most interested to see? Is it Marquise Lee against River Craycraft? What are you looking for here?
Well, it's kind of complicated because when I am talking about positional battles, I want to see how players perform against their opposite positions. For example, I want to see how our offensive line can perform against our healthy defensive line right now. I love one-on-one matchups in the offseason. I love that. I see what you're saying. So name some that you want to see, some one-on-ones. First of all, I want to see what the team wants to do with Daniel Brunskill, because I think that Daniel Brunskill was one of our greatest offensive linemen last season, and it's mainly because we tried him in so many positions, and I don't think that he failed us in any of those positions. He was a center, he was a guard, he was
a tackle at times,
and in all of these positions, he was decent at least. But I must say he was good. I want to see what he can do against Bosa at the tackle position, what he can do against our interior defensive line. I want to see him as a starter this season because I do think that he is way better than Mike McGlinchey at the tackle position, and he proved that in 2019. So
I like that. I'd like to see them get Brunskill reps at tackle. Come on. I mean, I think they see him as their backup center, but I think he'd be much more valuable as a backup tackle. Who is their backup tackle right now? Sean Coleman, Justin School? Come on. Daniel Brunskill is a better tackle than Justin School. We've seen that.
Yeah.
So why are you moving him away from tackle? Move Justin School to freaking guard, or he's too tall to play center. But I like that. Daniel Brunskill battling with someone at tackle. That's a good start. What other battles do you like? Are you interested in?
The other thing that I am interested in is the running back position.
Okay.
I think that we signed a lot of great talent with Trey Sermon, and I want to see, I don't remember his name, our second draft pick, who was
Elijah Mitchell. Trey Sermon, Elijah Mitchell, yes.
Because I'm not sure that Mostert will be a part of this team next season. I still think that we can trade him if we want to. And he has a value right now because he's
already requested a trade once. So yeah, if he doesn't, he's not used like he wants to be used, it's possible. He's not young.
Yeah. Because I want to see. That's why I want to see what is going to happen with the running back position. I want to see the linebackers as well, because as I mentioned before, we signed a great safety who, in my opinion, is more likely a weak side linebacker or a box safety.
Yeah.
I want to see that competition with the linebackers and with the box, with the nickels and dimes. I just want to see them, how they perform, because I'm the most excited about them. And the third one, which is pretty interesting, I want to see what Jalen Hurd can do. Can he get a real spot in this offense? Because when we signed him, we were like, okay, this guy is going to be the X weapon of Kyle Shanahan.
Right.
And when he played in the preseason, yes.
He looked good. He scored a touchdown.
He was decent. He was great. I think that
he's a lot like Debo. He's very physical. Yeah. He wants to run through people.
That guy is a mismatch for almost any defensive back.
Don't you look at it, the fact that the Niners haven't made a real investment in that wide receiver spot this offseason, that they keep kind of getting guys around the margins, undrafted guys, vets who haven't played in 3 years? Doesn't it feel like they really are leaving the door open for Jalen Hurd, and they're in an ideal world, he would just take that spot?
Yeah. I
do
think that is.
They don't want to. Like, if they could sign Golden Tate and just say forget Jalen Hurd, but they're not going to do that.
Yeah, and the other thing is that I don't know if you remember, but when Kyle started to play with Debo as a starter, there was a lot of gadget plays we played with Debo, and when I first saw those plays, I was like, okay, these plays were drawn for Jalen Hurd.
Right.
And these are the plays that Jalen Hurt's supposed to do with the 49ers. That's what I'm expecting from him next season. So
last year, he didn't even get to the point where he could compete. He was like on the side field trying to get in shape and towards ACL.
Yep.
I mean, I don't feel like this guy's been 100. I think this guy hasn't been 100% healthy since high school.
Yeah.
Something with him. I don't know if he'll ever make it, man. But he's still young. He's got a chance. But I feel like beyond the knee, you can come back from the knee. This guy had a really bad back injury. Look at D Ford. Those things can linger forever. So I don't know, man.
Yeah. And the last one that I am looking for is the quarterback competition. I want to see Jimmy Garoppolo compete against Trey Lance. I think that if Jimmy was never been a great training camp quarterback.
Nope.
He is really bad at it. I must say that. I want to see what they will do in the training camps with Trey. I really want to see if Jimmy really wants to compete with him.
And I want to see if Kyle Shanahan lets him compete. Is Kyle Shanahan going to give Trey Lance first team reps in camp, or is he just going to say he's not ready? Well, I want to see that. Don't tell me that. Put him on the same team with Jimmy, and let's see which guy does better, because I think it's going to be Trey.
Maybe. It's
it might be. I mean, it might be. I've just seen a lot of Jimmy in practice, and he's not particularly impressive. So the door's wide open for this kid to do something.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. Because
there's a reason that Nick Mullins was always in the conversation every year, because Jimmy's not good in practice.
Yeah,
he makes his backups look really good. He does,
but from the first moment when we signed Jimmy, we knew that Jimmy is great when there's pressure on him, and when Kyle lets him do what he wants. That's a thing that you must admit about Jimmy Garoppolo. If Jimmy Garoppolo gets free hands with the offense, then he performs way better. When he is just closed into a scheme that Kyle forces, then he's bad. That's why he was a wonder.
Combination. Oh, sorry. Keep going.
That's why he was a wonder first year where we signed him.
I also feel like the combination of $85 million and a torn ACL and a severe high ankle sprain has kind of taken the taste out, taken the passion out of it for Jimmy Garoppolo. It's like, you know what? Why am I doing this? I'm always hurt. I don't need to do this to make money. I'm set for 4 generations. That's what. When he came here in 2017, that guy had something to prove, man. He hadn't played before. He hadn't made any money. Well, he made money, but relatively speaking, he hadn't made any money. And his contract was up. He needed to prove something, and he did it. Now, when he's on the field, what he's trying to prove is he's trying to not get hurt again, is what he looks like to me. I'm trying to not get hurt again. Yeah, and that means he gets hurt.
Yeah, but right now things changed because he has to prove himself if he wants to be a starter in the NFL again. And that's why I expect him to be way better than he was in the past few years.
Yeah, man, you're not going against CJ and Nick Mullins anymore. You're going against Trey Lance, who's bigger than you, smarter than you, younger than you, stronger arm than you, faster than you, everything, man. He's got everything on you. Only thing he doesn't have is experience. So you got to make that count. You know, you got to show that you belong, dude, because the first impression of Trey Lance at the rookie minicamp was quite impressive. Quite impressive. Yeah. So let's talk. Well, we can talk about Jimmy. Should we talk about Jimmy now, or should we talk about the schedule now? What do you want to do?
We can talk about Jimmy as well.
Let's talk about Jimmy. It flows. So, in your opinion, I already said that I think Trey Lance is going to take this job from him right away. You were like, whoa. That's probably the more sensible prediction. So, how do you? What's the timeline you think? What are you expecting?
Well. First of all, when we signed Trey, I was really happy because I did think that he was the best out of the prospects that we could drafted in that third spot this year's NFL draft. But from the first time when we have talked about him, I said that I'm not sure that he could be ready for the season start. And I do think that Kyle wants to give him time to prove himself, to improve his reads, who get used to the speed of the pro level, because you shouldn't just forget that he played in second division college football. So that's not the same. We have seen quarterbacks who were stars in college, first division, fail in the NFL. I don't think that Kai wants to experiment if Trey will fail as well as a pro, because that was a live or die pick from Kyle this season, because this pick will just determine the future of this franchise in the future and determine the future of Kyle Shanahan as a 49ers head coach. So what I think of is that the first possible game when we will start Trey Lance is against the first Los Angeles game.
The first Los Angeles game about halfway through the season, week 10?
Yeah.
Week 10. Okay. Why do you pick that?
Wow. Because I do think that our schedule is front-loaded this season. So we are going to play against Green Bay third week, then Seattle, then Arizona, then Indianapolis, then Chicago and Arizona again. These games are going to be really hard. And Kai proved that he can beat the Rams even with CJ battered. Kai knows what to do against the Rams. And that's why I think that game, which is going to be a huge game, because we are going to play against, I do think that our strongest divisional opponent this season, with Matthew Stafford, who is a fresh signing. And Kai just wants to give Trey as many passion and as many self-confidence as possible. And if he lets Trey play against the Rams, which is a divisional opponent, which is going to be a huge game, and if Trey can beat the Rams with Kyle, that's the best possible start for him for the rest of the season, and it will give confidence to him for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Here's the Niners' problem. They're not a rebuilding team. It's not year one of Kyle Shanahan's tenure. It's year 5. And even though they want to move on from Jimmy Garoppolo, here's Jimmy Garoppolo's numbers with the 49ers. Okay. He's 22-8 as a starter. His quarterback rating is 98.1. So we all have problems with him. The Niners have a problem with him. We all know the issue. But they can't just bring in a kid who is going to have a quarterback rating of 65 next year. Now, I'm not saying Trey Lance will, but everyone compares him to Josh Allen. These were Josh Allen's numbers as a rookie, all right? He was 5-6. He completed 52% of his passes. His quarterback rating was 67.9. Now, that was fine for Buffalo because they were a rebuilding team with a first-year coach. That was fine. But that's not the same situation the Niners are in. And if he is the next Josh Allen, great. You got a superstar. But you can't afford to play him in that circumstance because Jimmy's better than that right now. Yeah. I'm not saying that Trey Lance is going to be that. But if that's the curve that he's on, the Josh Allen curve, then, I mean, look at his numbers year 2. Josh Allen, year 2. He did go 10-6. He completed 58% of his passes. His rating was 85. Again, it's hard to take away Jimmy's job for a guy who's not as good as him. I think that's why when he finally gets the job, he needs to be ready to tear it up the way that Kaepernick was when he finally took Alex Smith's job.
Yeah, that's why I think that the ideal spot to start him is at the 10th week of this season, because Niners possibly are going to be 6-3 or 7-2 in ideal situation, in an ideal situation, when if Trey is going to be mediocre or at least decent for the rest of the season, they can easily go to the playoff at the wild card spot with him.
The more I think about it, the more I feel like this is Jimmy Garoppolo's job to lose more than Trey's to win.
Yeah.
Because if they both compete in training camp and Kyle says Trey's better, but then he's wrong, and Trey goes out in the regular season, it's not practice, it's not preseason, you go out in the regular season and loses to Detroit. You know, it just doesn't look ready. Now you're in a terrible spot because you have to bench your guy, which is pretty much the worst way. And now you're in like the Tua Tagovailoa situation. You're benching your guy and you're bringing back Jimmy. Oh, you can't let that happen. So what's better for the Niners is for Jimmy to win the competition, I guess. Go out there and either play well and keep the job and let Trey Lance develop or lose it. All of a sudden become a guy who doesn't win anymore. His quarterback rating dips into the 80s. Then it's like, well, Niner fans are done with you. Goodbye. Trey Lance can come in and do whatever he can. That's the way I look at it. I think Jimmy's going to have to lose this.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah. That's for sure. But don't get me wrong. If we are going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo before the trade deadline, because a franchise quarterback is going to hurt himself during the season, and Jimmy doesn't, then
you got to stay healthy, buddy.
Yeah.
Now they've improved the offensive line. They've brought in a lot of reinforcements. So I don't know what he can say. Last year was a bad offensive line. He looked freaked week 1, but he can't say that anymore. Alex Mack, Aaron Banks, dude, you got to stand and deliver with confidence. Otherwise, Trey Lance will.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Pretty much that's it. All right. I haven't talked to you really since the schedule came out. Have I? No.
Just to answer fast to Josh Gonzalez. No, Josh, that's not a Cowboys helmet. It was my helmet for about 6 years when I was playing American football. It's more likely blue, and it has some Panthers marks on both sides of the helmet, because when I retired, I was a Panthers player here in Hungary.
It looks like a North Carolina helmet to me. I thought you were
a
Tar Heel for a second.
Kinda.
Yeah. All right. What were your biggest takeaways from this schedule, man? What do you think?
First of all, I think that this is one of the easiest schedule we had in the past few years.
Especially like just looking at the opponents, man. All the away games are against terrible teams.
Yeah. So what I expect from the team after this schedule is they have to be in the playoffs this season.
Yes.
No excuse. Mm-hmm. No excuse. Mm-hmm. They must play in the playoffs this season. And if they fail to play in the playoffs, then I think that we should really consider kicking Kyle Shanahan out from the team, because there's no excuse for that.
How many times are you going to miss the playoffs, man? I mean, 2019 was great, but if they missed the playoffs this year, that's 4 out of 5 years. Let's be clear. Take the name out of it, the reputation, what you think you know about Kyle. It's a production business. You are what your record says you are. That's what they say, right? So any other coach that starts his tenure in some place with 4 non-playoff seasons in 5 years gets fired. The only reason that Kyle wouldn't is because his name is Kyle Shanahan, and Jed York seems to really like him, like really, really like him.
Yeah.
Like him. You know what I'm saying? I don't got like he's his best friend. Like he's like, they're BFFs. He acts like Kyle's his BFF, and Kyle's like, I mean, as long as you just keep giving me extensions, we can be BFFs.
Yeah.
But just don't tag me in any photos on Facebook because I don't really want my group of friends to know that we hang out, but we can hang out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It.
Yeah.
That's it. So that's why I think if we fail to compete for a playoff spot at least, then the fans will tear Kai's head off.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
But what he's got going for him is that he's BFFs with the owner. It's always good to be BFFs with your employer. Smart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
just think that Jed York shouldn't fall into that. I mean, you got to know that people that you could potentially fire are going to want to be your friend. That's a guy you fire everyone. That Jed he's 40 years old. He's going to own this team for another 40 years. He's going to fire John Lynch eventually. He's going to fire Kyle Shanahan eventually. You don't need to be super best friends with the people that you work with. You don't have to.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can have a cordial relationship. I know that Eddie DeBartolo was super friendly with the players and stuff, but those guys were also champions. I mean, it makes sense that you would want to be super best friends with Bill Walsh and Joe Montana and Dwight Clark, but you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know that.
Little Twitter rants, not rants, but I don't know. He's trying to find humor on Twitter late at night, and then the next morning he says that he was hacked. Like, I think stop.
So back to the schedule.
Back to the schedule.
Game to game. I think against Detroit, it's a must-win game. It's a must-win game. No excuses against Philadelphia as well. Green Bay is going to be interesting because I don't know if they can resign or at least get an agreement with Aaron Rodgers. If they can't, then Love will be the starting QB for the Green Bay Packers. They are way weaker with their offensive line. I think that could be an easy one as well.
Yeah.
So at least 3 wins for me after 3 games. Then against Seattle, I think that if there's a time when the 49ers can beat Seattle, it is going to be the 4th week.
Okay.
I look like AJ Hawk.
A little bit. I can see it. A little bit. You got the strong jaw.
Thank you.
Paul says not enough chin. AJ Hawk has a huge chin, but Botond's got a good chin too. I keep distracting you. How many wins do you see in this schedule?
12.
12.
12 at least 12.
12. Okay. Yep. I can see that too. I have him at 11. I think I'm just a little curious about D'Amico, but that's about where I'm at.
Yeah. The thing that concerns me is our divisional opponents. So the hardest games are going to be against Arizona. The Rams.
6 brutal games.
Yeah. The Rams looks way stronger than before. To be honest, the least scared I am is against when we are going to play against the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
I think that from the 4 teams that are playing in our division, they are the weakest right now.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. Amin says we should call this show Beyond with Botond. I like it. Thank you, Amin.
I like it. Thank you.
Amin's he's got a good he's got a way with titles.
Yeah.
Fastunky, thanks for watching all the way from Twitch. I have like 100 followers on Twitch. I'm trying to get people to watch over there sometimes, but YouTube's good too. I don't know why people prefer Twitch to YouTube. Kids, but some people like it. I don't know. So I try to diversify. It's all about diversification. We had more topics, I think. Oh, Trey Lance and his Madden rating. Can you explain to me what's going on here?
Well, Trey Lance said that he does think that he deserves an at least 88 rating in Madden 2021.
Yes.
The best rookie quarterback rating from Madden was back then when Andrew Luck got signed with the Indianapolis Colts. And if I remember well, he was about 82. Last year's Burrow was 78.
Something like that, yeah.
Madden. So 88 is kind of okay. I like your confidence, but first of all, you have to prove yourself, man.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. Don't want to overthink it, but this was the first interview when I don't like what he said.
Why? Because that one thing. Yeah. Prove yourself.
Because I don't like players who are overconfident.
Okay.
I think you have to deserve the respect of other people and the respect of other guys in the NFL before you say something like that. It's kind of like Johnny Manziel was when he texted the Cleveland Browns that, guys, come on, sign him, and we are going to win the Super Bowl.
Right.
First of all, yourself, then say the big words. That's all.
Yeah, that's a good point. Trey, just beat out Jimmy. Don't worry about your bad rating. Just beat out Jimmy Garoppolo, because Jimmy's like a what? Honestly, like an 80 in real life.
No,
what would you call him? Like a 75? 77. Okay, so Jimmy's a 77, man. If you could be a 78, let's start there. Don't worry about 88. Be a 78, because then you win the starting job.
Yeah,
that's an interesting one. I've been trying to get a feel for Trey Lance. He doesn't really answer questions. He talks, but he doesn't really answer the question. It's interesting. I can't get a feel for him, but that's kind of how quarterbacks are most of the time. They don't really speak that freely. They're kind of they're trying to be like the coach of the team and try to say the right thing while not saying anything. But I don't know. I don't have a read on him yet. And it's the one thing he said was like, oh, it's kind of not what you're supposed to say. You've been saying what you're supposed to say the whole time. Now you're trying to say 88. Well, it's a young man trying to say that he's confident, right? I get it. But
could be that simple.
You've been to one practice. It was a rookie minicamp. You threw 20 checkdown passes. I feel that. Slow down, baby. Sean says, can you please start a campaign to get Fred Warner signed? I'm really starting to get worried. Extend Fred.
They will extend Fred. If they don't, then I think that fans will just burn down the house of Kyle and John. So I think there's no way that they won't sign Fred Warner. Fred Warner is right now the greatest coverage linebacker in the NFL. I think there's no way that we won't sign him. We have the money. Just do that.
I think it's a good topic, though, because it's a deadline business. These things happen at the deadline. Last year, the deadline for Kittle last year was training camp. It was clear he's not going to step back. Well, he might. I mean, people don't really hold out anymore because you lose a lot of money. But if he had to go into camp without a new deal, it'd be bad blood. Like, that'd be something he wouldn't forget. He might not forgive. It would really damage the relationship, right? Yeah. And they didn't want to do that. So they strung it out to the deadline. They made a deal there. Everyone's happy. And he goes and he's there first day at camp. There weren't OTAs last year. There wasn't mini camp last year. That could drag out until late July. Now there's practice a week from today. Next Wednesday is OTAs. You want Fred Warner there. You want him there. And he's probably, it's voluntary, so he can skip it and not get fined. If I were his agent, I would say you can't step on a field without it. Things happen, man. Look at Jalen Hurd last year. Things happen. Absolutely not. I'm not letting you step on that field. Stay home. And that's bad for the Niners. I think, to me, the deadline is Sunday. But if it were, we'd be hearing rumblings from Ian Rappaport, Mike Silver, that something's happening. They're talking. Doesn't seem like it's going to happen. I'm curious to see if Fred Warner shows up.
Yeah.
Shouldn't. He might.
Well, if Fred Warner is a must for this team right now, because what he brings to this defense is experience, confidence, and intelligence. And those are his most valuable traits, which he brings to this team. Right now, I think there's no better player in this defense than Fred Warner. He just filled the spot of Richard Sherman. He just filled the spot of DeForest Buckner, who we will miss the most in the next few years, I think. Mm-hmm. And we are missing right now because he was the heart and soul of this defense for years. They just don't want to make the same mistake that they did with releasing or trading DeForest Buckner.
They want the leader of the team to be, they wanted it to be Jimmy Garoppolo. Now they want it to be Trey Lance. They want it to be Nick Bosa, George Kittle. Well, the fact of the matter is the leader of the team is Fred Warner. That's just the way it is. Yeah. He's taken it. He's earned it. He never misses a game. He is the unquestioned leader of the team. They better not do something stupid.
Yeah, that guy is just so great. I think that right now he is my favorite player from the 49ers.
Yeah, I like everything he stands for. And he just got married. He just got engaged.
Yeah, congrats. Yeah. I've seen that. Congrats.
Mazel tov, as we say. Yeah. So, Fred Warner.
Or
I'm looking. Niners, do that. Get that done this week. Niners. Quality control. Free tip.
or gratulálok in Hungarian. If you want to say congrats, we say gratulálok.
Say it again.
Gratulálok.
Gratulálok. Did I get it?
Perfect.
Did I get it? You like that?
Yeah.
Like that? All right. Last one. Give us a Hungarian football update. We don't talk Hungarian football that much, but it's something you're very passionate about. You're passionate about the international football community. You've been trying to grow it over there. And we interviewed, what was his name again? Jaime Hill?
Jamie Hill.
Oh, my bad. He spells it Jaime, though. Jamie Hill.
Jamie Hill. He was a 49ers defensive back coach.
That's right. That's right.
Back then.
That's right.
And right now he's signed with the Hungarian team. He's a head coach here. And he leads his team to success because the past 2 weeks they just won games and they were invincible in every aspect of the game. So which the improvement which Jamie brought into Hungarian football was unknown in the past few years. I think that's a huge upgrade. I'm glad that we have him, and I'm glad that Hungarian football is started to grow as a sport here in Hungary. Right now, Hungarian TVs are, but in the past few years, Hungarian TV just gave Hungarian football matches a chance, Hungarian American football matches a chance to get streamed. And this year, because of COVID, there's no TV which is going to stream those games, but they are doing an excellent job to improve the sport, and I'm pretty happy because of that. Because all the thing that we have to do is to grow our sports, because American football is an amazing game. I'm passionate about it because football just gave my life back to me, and that's why I must say that it's the most beautiful game of all. I like it. There's no game no sports that can compete with American football. That's why I'm so passionate about it.
I think this is great. People, it's not just about what this means for Hungary. It's a great thing for Hungary, but it's great for football. If there can be international leagues that work, that's more jobs for players. There's more professional jobs for players. There's more professional jobs for coaches. There's more professional jobs for journalists. You know, I think it's a great thing. International football is something that needs to be cultivated. And I think they're starting to look at the Niners. They just signed Alfredo Gutierrez. There was a thing where like 4 or 5 international players got signed to practice squads. It's something that obviously is good for the profiting of the league, but also it has good side effects for players, coaches, journalists. It's just it grows the sport. It grows the entertainment industry. That's a good thing.
Yeah. And the community that roots for this sport. I think that a lot of fans in the past few years from Hungary became NFL fans because of American football here in Hungary, because they have never seen American football before. After that, they started to search for American football, and that's how they found teams.
I see. Right, because the television companies in Europe aren't exactly showing American football. Really. They don't assume that anyone cares about it. It's just soccer all day. So now you have to go out of your way to find it. You got to stay up till 3 a.m. But people do, the way that Americans have recently fallen in love with soccer and watched, the Premier League and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you know what's an interesting fact? I remember when I started to watch American football here in Hungary, and there weren't so much people who were watching the Super Bowl. Right now here in Hungary, when there's Super Bowl evening, there's about 100,000 people who is watching the Super Bowl here. And even though it starts at 2 a.m. here in Hungary, a lot of people just tries to get a holiday for that Monday morning or that Monday and watch the NFL, the Super Bowl. And that's fantastic. I think that's how a sport connected a lot of nations together.
You never know if this Hungarian team with Jamie Hill does well and they start making money, we might be on their quality control staff in a couple of years. We might just move to Hungary. I mean, you're already there, but I might too. Who knows? Who knows? Hey, everyone, real quick. I see a bunch of people commenting from Twitch. Thank you. I just started a Twitch account. Would you guys do me a favor and follow me? My Twitch account is called Real Grant Cohn. One word. You don't have to watch me on Twitch. If you like watching me on YouTube, that works too. But hey, do me a favor and make an account on Twitch. And follow me, please. You don't have to, but I would really appreciate it. Anyway, that's our show. Botond, thank you so much. Always appreciate you taking time out of your busy night. It's late over there and you've worked all day. So thank you so much.
Thanks. It's a pleasure to be here. Always, I'm honored that I'm part of the show. I'm honored to write for the SI. So it's great as always. Best wishes.
That's right, baby. Thanks so much, Botond. Thanks so much, everyone. Vish is on vacation. Remember, Vish is 21. He's on summer vacation. He's not doing it today. He asked for a week off. And I said, okay, but this is the only time because I have him on sweatshop hours. He needs to get back in the studio now. So anyway, no Botond today. We're going to be on at 12 with Eye Test Sports, Miami's finest. No Eye Test. So Botond, thanks again. I'll see you guys in about an hour and 15.